What's up, witches and bitches and giga chads and giga cranes?
Next question.
What's up? Hi, I'm Crane, and welcome to another dumb video where I teach you some stuff. Yeah, that's pretty. Oh god. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to make Valorant thumbnails, what you see in other YouTube videos or YouTube live streams or like everywhere, using Photoshop. So in the previous part, I used Blender to make this render, and in this part, we're gonna use that render and edit in Photoshop to make our final thumbnail. I'm not a Photoshop nerd at all, and I'm aware of that. Then why are you making this video even, Crane? You
Dumbass.
because I want to. Is that makes sense? Yeah, that's oh god. Okay, you can call me dumbass. That's okay. That's totally fine. But if I'm a dumbass, you are a for even clicking and watching this video. Oh, sorry. Oh no. Okay, so like I write, edit the videos and make thumbnails for each of them all by myself, so I'm not the best guy in Photoshop, Premiere Pro or Blender or even YouTube, but I can show you how to make decent thumbnails like this.
Come.
Oh god. This video is gonna be a massacre. God. I don't know why you even clicked on that, but yeah, thank you for that. Oh god. So without further ado, just take a deep breath and open your Photoshop. What you waiting for? Now simply come over here and create new. Now make sure you're using 1920 by 1080p as we're making YouTube thumbnail and make the background white. Hit create, and here we are. We created our project. Now open the folder where you have your render at and simply left click and drag it to this white spot. Easy as that, right? Import, right? No, I'm gonna be serious now. Okay. Serious, Crane? Before we even start doing anything, I want to show you some hotkeys to ease your workflow maybe. Yeah, so to resize, you have to simply press Ctrl T and, drag the edges. Yeah. Now to stretch it, hold shift and drag to stretch. And if you want to do a 3D stretch, just hold control and drag the points. Like the corner points, not other points. So my topic of the thumbnail is Sova holding the banner, sending the message to stop war and this all Ukraine crisis and everything like that. So we need a banner to make Sova hold in his hand as we pose in Blender. So for that, get your image in Chrome, right click on it, copy image and open your Photoshop and press Ctrl V to paste it. Easy as that, right? Right? Now come to the lasso tool icon over here and click and hold, and now select polygonal lasso tool. Now come to the unknown. Now come over this banner over here and outline the banner with this lasso tool. Don't need to worry about the hand. We will edit it out, don't worry. For now, outline the banner and simply come to this icon over here and click it. What that does is just adds a mask and removes the rest of that other thing. Now come to this healing brush tool over here and left click and hold that and select the healing brush tool. Now come to the banner, click on the banner once and hold Alt and right click drag to make the brush smaller. Now you double check that you select the banner layer, right? And now just paint the hand yellow with that brush. I know there might be 100 ways to do the same task in this Photoshop. This is the way I do it. Maybe I'm dumb, I don't know. This is how I do it. Now once it's done, just simply select the layer of the banner and press Ctrl J to duplicate the layer and hide one layer. So that's like you're making a backup for that layer which you just created by healing and other stuff. Now all we gotta do is resize it and fit it in between those hands, fingers, whatever you say, I don't know. Now you gotta play around with the 3D and stretching a bit over here to fit it exactly in between those fingers. Now in our reference picture you can see she's holding the banner and her finger can be seen, so here we need to work on that. So what are you waiting for? Just go to the eraser tool and select the eraser tool, right? And now change the brush to the box setting, and now you gotta trim out the sides of the flag and reveal the fingers with it. Just keep doing it. Now I just want to quickly say that if you're liking this video, please drop a like and subscribe because it's free. I mean why not? Come on, just do it. Now once you're done trimming with the block, now just simply change the block to brush And now we gotta work on that fingers, tiny little fingers a bit, you know. So take your time and erase that part of the banner very carefully. Now all you gotta do is select the layer of the banner, Ctrl J to duplicate it, right? And now resize the banner in a way that it fills up that white spot over there. Now, once you're done with it, you just hold and drag the layer under the Sova's layer. So now look at that. It filled up the back, and if it makes you feel like it's 3D. Now I'm gonna select the brush and trim the edges a bit more. Now select the above banner layer and right click on it and go to the blending options. Now go to this option over here and check this box, this contour. Just add something like a 3D edge around it. Now after you do that, you gotta again select the brush and keep trimming the fingers. I know it's boring, but you gotta do it. Just keep putting your time. Now if you want to catch me alive, follow me on Twitch. It's free. Twitch.tv/electrograin. I stream regularly over there. Hit Ctrl S on your keyboard to save the file. Okay, just name it whatever you want and click on save to save. I mean, yeah, just do it. Why not? Now I need a background picture, so I'm grabbing one picture from Google Chrome and pasting it in Photoshop, and I'm gonna resize it a bit. And now I'm gonna put this picture layer under every single other layer in my Photoshop right here, right like this, right? Now here I'm gonna be resizing the layer a bit more to blend with the Sova. Now what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna select the layer and we're gonna duplicate this layer. Now we're gonna select the top of the layer and we're gonna go to filters and we're gonna add some blur into it. Now buckle up, there's a lot of blurs. So let's start with Gaussian blur. The Gaussian blur is like, you know what a Gaussian blur is. You know what Gaussian plane is? Oh, never mind. So basically it's a distance blur, a normal blur like this, you know, like this. Now we're gonna be diving into a lens blur. So basically lens blur is basically a DSLR blur. You can mess around with this, you know, settings over here, the amount, and that creates that kind of blur like a DSLR. Now let's dive into the motion blur. So what motion blur is, that basically adds a blur which makes your background look like it's in a motion. So like this. So radial blur. So there's two types of radial blur. One is zoom and another is spin. So what zoom does is basically adds this zoom effect like that. Or what spin does is this. That's spin. Easy as that. Now there's one more blur. If you go to the filter and go to the pixelate and then go to the mosaic, that creates that kind of sensor type of blur people use. But for this project, I'm gonna be using lens blur because it creates a nice kind of DSLR looking classy fancy blur. For this project I use this kind of settings for this blur, and here it is. But here I'm gonna be doing one more thing. I'm gonna select the layer which has the blur. I'm gonna add a mask with it, and I'm gonna now select the brush, select the black color, and now I'm gonna put the opacity like that, and I'm gonna slowly and carefully I'm gonna put a couple of strokes. Now what that basically does is it removes the blurs of that particular parts a bit. I know that's not even noticeable, but I don't know why I do that, but I do that. Now, as it's a Valorant thumbnail after all, I have to add artificial lighting to this thing, right? So select the banner layer and add a new layer on the top of it and make sure that layer is under that layer. Now we're gonna select our favorite tool, brush, and gonna select the white color and with this amount of opacity. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna slowly add strokes behind Sova like this. Fast forward. But still this face looks dull, so I'm gonna select the Sova's layer and I'm gonna go over here, layer, adjustment, and brightness contrast, and I'm gonna play around with the brightness a bit like this, and I'm gonna hit OK. Come on, hit the OK button already, mate. Now add a new layer on the top of all these layers and select this icon and select curves. Now here put 3 anchor points over here and, you know, make it a shape like S a bit while, you know, noticing your Sova's face. Makes yours a bit like contrasty, cheeky, nice color grade, you know, with a little bit of salt and a little bit of no. So here I'm selecting the Sova's layer again and going to layer and adjustment just to, you know, mess around with the brightness and contrast a bit more, and also adding the lights in that layer a bit more. Now we're gonna be adding some flame particles, like really like there's burning something and like war going on. So we're gonna search for flame particles PNG and gonna grab this one. So right click, copy image, Ctrl V to paste it. Now we gotta bring that image on top of all the layers and gonna resize it a bit. So So what are you just doing, man? Just bring it in the top of all layers and resize it like this, like this, like this. Yep. Now just go to the blending options like this and select screen. Yeah, I'm gonna go with screen. And look at that, how this thing is. Damn. But that's not enough with that flame particle layer. You gotta resize it in a way that it blends with the background. And also you gotta, select the eraser and gonna and you have to give a couple of strokes with this opacity to just just you have to give a couple of strokes that it blends with that, right? Like this. It all depends on how well it's resonating with your artistic eyes and kind of that. Now I feel like that it requires a bit more flame lighting to show the intensity of that. So we're gonna be adding a layer on the top of that previous lighting layer. Gonna select the brush, gonna select this color like this. Now I'm gonna give it a couple of strokes. I'm gonna paint this kind of fire and flamey lighting to show the intensity of it. Now we will do one more thing. Select that flame particle layer and press Ctrl J to duplicate the layer. See the difference? See the intensity like that? Nice. Now just Ctrl J one more time and duplicate another layer and resize and place it on this part, so it's like a balanced way of fire flame particle coming from both directions, like that kind of feeling, if that makes sense at the end of the day. Now here I'm gonna select the eraser tool and gonna do a couple of strokes to blend this thing with that. Feels like I need more flame particles, so I grabbed this one and pasted this on Photoshop Lamau, and I resized it and again blend it as the screen like this, and I'm gonna resize it a bit more, and again gonna select the eraser tool and erase some parts so then it easily blends with the whole atmosphere of this thumbnail, which is crazy good. You can adjust all these flame particle layers which perfectly resonates with your eyes. For me, that's what I'm doing right now, adjusting. In my eyes, I want to add a little bit of glow around Sova's that whatever that is. So I'm gonna add a layer on the top of this layer, and I'm gonna select the brush, right? And now I'm gonna make the opacity a bit low, like this opacity, right there, right? And now I'm gonna select color. I'm gonna pick color which Sova's that have, like this. I'm gonna gently and carefully, paint a little bit of this, you may say artificial aura around it. That will feel like that. That will make it feel like that it's glowing after all. So I added aura in the Sova's bow and in his eyes, but also I'm gonna put a little bit of aura in his clothes. That doesn't make any sense, but I did for some reason. Now select the banner, right, and go to layers, adjustment, and adjust the brightness a bit of the banner that blends with the atmosphere like this, right there. Now go to the layer where you just added that curves layer, and now select the same icon and select the brightness and contrast. That basically adjusts the brightness contrast of the all layers. So here I'm adjusting the layers a bit, a little bit, and then that looks pretty decent. Now I'm about to show you a very little helpful trick which you can apply in any of your project, and which is super cool. So basically head over to your layers and just leave this brightness and curves a bit there. Now hold shift on your keyboard and select the top layer and go all the way down and select the full bottom layer like that. Now press Ctrl J to duplicate all the layers. Now Ctrl E to merge all these layers. There you go. Now we're gonna be adding blur in that layer. So we're gonna select this layer, go to filters, blur, select lens blur, and there we go. Now I'm gonna be tweaking with the settings a bit to get the best results. So here we go, and I use this settings for this. So yeah, and hit OK, and boom, look at this nice, fancy, classy, just film grainy DSLR blur. I mean, I like it. Now head over to the layers again and select the layer. Now add a mask like this, and now go select your brush, select it to black, and make the opacity around this like this. And now you have to give it a couple of strokes, only the parts you want to show. So that basically erases the blurs in that point, which creates a nice, awesome effect. To give it final touch, I'm gonna tweaking this brightness and contrast a little bit, and that looks like that has so many faults and so many drawbacks, or not the drawbacks, that's not the word. This thumbnail is not the best and not the good, but it's just it is what it is. I'm messing with this curve a bit, and yeah, I don't know what I just created. I don't know, I teached you. Maybe you can play around with one more effect, like you just select the box and select the color to black, and add a black box on the top of your whole masterpiece, and just select the eraser and increase the size of the eraser very, very big, and make the opacity around like this, and just give it a couple of strokes like this, tick 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 tick, and yeah, it just creates a little bit of like shutter, I don't know what, some kind of effect, I don't know. That's crazy. Actually, this effect is cool, but I don't use this effect that much. I just am sewing this, so maybe I might not be using this effect right in this editing. Yeah, after all of this, you better like zoom in and zoom out and see your masterpiece, because that will give you a view idea that how it will look like in smaller scale in YouTube videos, right? Now finally it's time for you to export, so go to files, and you know what, save as. Go to save on your computer and set it to PNG. If you need best quality, select PNG and just save it best quality. Yep. Now as it's PNG, right, it will be bigger, the size will be bigger, like 3.9 MB, but YouTube video thumbnail supports only 2 MB, so you have to go and again go to save it, and you have to save it as JPEG file like this. Save, and you can see the size of the thumbnail, what it's gonna be, so you can set it accordingly like that, and you make sure you make it under 2 MB, and then hit OK, so you can upload it in your YouTube thumbnail. Look at this, how much MB this is. So that's how it look like. You can do one more thing. You just go there and just search for camera HUD, I guess, and then slap it in the top of all these layers, and then make it screen like that. You can add this type of effect. You can play around with it, and that's how it looks like. This was the prototype version, and yeah, that's the final version. That looks pretty decent. This is the first version. This looks shit in comparison to that, and also footage got corrupted, so I had to record it all the way again. This is that version, and oh, Viper.
Next question.
Oh, never mind. So that's the end of the video. I don't know if you're watching still. Legend, I don't know why you're watching. So if somehow this video was helpful to you and you liked it, please drop a like and drop a subscribe. It means a lot to me. It's free, man. Just do it. Come on, why not? And also, if you want to catch me live, follow me on Twitch. And also, if you want to see some dang memes, you can follow me on Twitter. That's I would appreciate that. So that's all I got for today. Hope you see you in the next video. Till then, good night, good luck, stay human. See ya. Man, that was a journey. And one more thing, never ever fucking give up. Never give up. Just keep fighting. I know maybe you're going through a lot rough times. What do you think? I am okay. I'm also going through it. So let's go through it and let's see what happens. Just so just never give up. Just keep it up. Just carry on, and one day it will be a funny story to tell to somebody.
How are you? I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
I'm actually scared.